Today, our special guest is Randy Thompsons. Very shortly, he will be introducing himself. But by way of introduction, my name is Claudia Newton, and I'm the host and founder of No Ordinary Life. And just for you guys who are new, No Ordinary Life is basically a career motivation that you learn a lot from today's session. I'm looking forward to today's session. So in today's session, we're going to be focusing on how to get unstuck in two main areas. Hopefully we get to do the second one, but it's quite a big topic. So the first part is how to get unstuck in your business. And then in the second part, we'll talk about how to get unstuck in relationships. So two big topics. If we don't finish today's session with the two topics, we might have another session where Randy will be able to continue what we started today. So yeah, Randy, just introduce yourself. What do you do? And just tell us like one thing that you're passionate about and you're driven for today's session.
Well, I'm Randy Thompsons, and I'm an author, entrepreneur, and founder of Refiners Publishers. Refiners Publishers is a book publishing firm located in Accra, Ghana. And I'm also the creative director of Logo Brand Africa, a branding and printing firm, also in Accra. So we are into website development and corporate branding. That's my business aspect.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
Okay, thank you so much for joining our live today. Today we're talking about how to get started, how to start a business, and we have our special guests who are right here with me. They'll be introducing themselves very shortly. But let me introduce myself first. My name is Claudia Newton. I'm the founder of No Ordinary Life. So in brief, No Ordinary Life is a careers motivation platform as well as a personal development platform. Our areas of focus are mental health, personal development, financial development, and also career development. So today's topic tackles the career development side of things, and I'll also say personal development side of things, because from being a business person, there's so much that you can gain from this venture. So for those of you who are new to No Ordinary Life, welcome, and please share the link with your friends and family and anyone that you think will be interested in this talk. So our panelists will be introducing themselves very shortly. But the reason why we have this event is because May for No Ordinary Life is our Entrepreneurship Month. So we focus all about people who are into business, and also we want to inspire people to really get going with what they want to do. If there's anyone who has an idea and is thinking of how to start, this is a perfect talk for you. So without wasting much time, I will invite our panelists. And then we'll get started with an introduction. So I think I'll start with you, Gift, since you're on my screen. Can you introduce yourself to everyone? And please put where you're joining us from in the chat. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Gift Fundan. I'm the CEO of Eminent Prints, which is a large format digital printing company based in Lilongwe, Malawi. The company was founded in 2021. And we've been operational for like 3 years now. So our main focus areas, working areas, is we do branding, vehicle branding, t-shirt painting, banners, and vinyl and etc. Thank you.
Very much. Thank you, Gift. So Gift is joining us from Malawi, and our second panelist also joining us from Malawi is Jacqueline. So Jacqueline, just introduce yourself, what you do, something interesting about yourself if you want to add that as well.
Good evening. My name is Jacqueline Joan Banda. I'm joining you from Mangosh, Malawi. I run a social enterprise called J Foods. We are into farming and value addition. I process nutritional supplement products, cherry sauce, peanut butter, and porridge flour. So I started my business in 2019 but I've been fully in operation since 2022.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Okay, so we're not going to waste too much time. We do have other panelists, but I think the network has dropped. So we will get started with the questions that we have. And yes, please feel free to tell us where you're joining us from. Put your country in the chat. This is streaming live on YouTube only. We usually stream on LinkedIn as well, but today we're only streaming on YouTube. So please feel free to share the link. Everyone has a YouTube account, so feel free to share the link. All right, so let's get started. All right, so my first question, I suppose I can direct it to, we'll start with Gift. For people who are very creative and tend to have lots and lots of ideas, they're probably wondering, which one do I go for? And if I want to test out my idea, should I be testing them all at the same time? Or should I test one before the other? Or should I just think about it before I even launch one? What would you say to them?
All right. Based off my experience, I would recommend starting one idea at a time, because if you were to get everything all together at once, it becomes overwhelming and you could end up using so much resources. So you start with one step at a time, one idea at a time, and then build up from there. That's what I would say on that.
All right. Anything else to add to that, Jacqueline? In terms of ideas, should people be testing out all their ideas at the same time, or should they really think about which idea to go for before they actually launch?
They always say that you can put all your eggs in one basket. So it's better you should be starting your idea one by one. For instance, I have been in business for so long, but with JFast, I ventured fully in JFast 2019. Currently, we have four products, but I've been testing one product at a time and seeing how it's performing on the market, getting customers' feedback, and then to add another product. So it should be starting one idea at a time, and you don't lose focus, because when you have plenty of ideas, concentrate in which one is working and which is not working. But when you have one idea and you put all your full energy in one idea, and that's when you say, here, I'm having some hiccups, let me work on this and let me work on that. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. So from both people, we can see that it's best to test your ideas one at a time. And also, it's very important that you're given enough time to get the feedback from the products that you're launching. So just to follow up on that, for the both of you, I'm sure that you both use social media a lot. For Gift yourself, because you're, I would say, more of a graphic design company. How was the response on social media when you first started? Was that a good way to gauge the success of your product?
Yeah. That's actually, like, social media is actually one of the good ways of getting feedback from your clients. Or so pretty much, that was actually one of the proper ways to get customer feedback, because that's the most important thing. If you're testing out your product out there, you're putting it out there, getting feedback from clients is one of the ways that you can actually gauge to say, okay, we're going in the right direction, or maybe we need to change this, or we need to go this way. But yeah, I can say that's one of the ways we actually gauge that our product is okay.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. And we just have Solomon joining us from Ghana. Solomon, you didn't really get to do the introduction, so I'll give you the chance to do your introduction, and then I'll pose the next question. So welcome, Solomon.
All right. Thank you very much, Claudia. First of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity to also add voice in No Ordinary Life projects and activities. And also, I want to thank the speakers too for this wonderful presentation. So my name is Solomon Aidan. Professionally, I am an accountant. And aside that, one thing that I'm so passionate about is to help businesses and also give them what we call funding to scale up their operation. And that is why Business Bite is there to help small businesses. And the focus is not just Ghana here, but the bigger picture is the entire continent of Africa. So thank you for this wonderful session, and I hope to enjoy. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. So all our panelists are business people, and they're all, I'll say, work in different industries. So we have Gift from the, I'd say, graphic design, prints industry. We have Solomon from the consultancy. To be honest, Solomon, I think Solomon dabbles in a few things. He didn't really do justice to introduction. I know he does so many things, but consultancy, we can stick with consultancy for the broader side of things. And Jacqueline works in the foods agriculture industry, so she will share more about how she started when she's given her answers. But a huge thank you to everyone who's joined us. I can see that we have Blessing from Accra, Ghana. We have Hope from Hope is Blessing. We also have someone, from Malawi. We have Sari from the UK, Christine from the UK, Francis from Ghana, Yvonne from the UK, and the Godfather, who's here to support Gift. Thank you so much for joining, and please share the link with your friends and loved ones, and I'm sure they'll benefit so much from today's session. So right, we're going to keep going. We're expecting one more panelist, but she will join us very shortly. So we talked about how to launch a product in the research phase. So Solomon, we missed your contribution. We asked if people with multiple ideas, if they should be launching them all at once, or if they should be testing them out one at a time, or they should really think about the number of ideas they have and which one should they go for. So just give us your little contribution on that, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Claudia. I believe that before you launch a product, you are going to invest money in that project. It's not going to come at a free cost. So there's this model I normally employ anytime that I have several ideas and I want to look for the one that at least has a higher success rate. So I call it the FPPME model. I adapted it from Christian Gulliver. So what it was trying to say is that before you, roll out an idea, you must first of all check if the idea is feasible. So the feasibility aspects we are looking at for the implementation. Is it easy for you to implement this kind of idea? Because some ideas are not easy to implement. If you find it difficult and maybe with your capacity, it requires a lot of technical aspect to implement this kind of idea, and it's going to cost you too much. I think you have to rethink about this idea. The next aspect is the profitability. You see, we are not just implementing or launching ideas. We must also be very careful about it, whether we can get money from it, because at the end of the day, business is all about solving problems and also making money out of solving the problems. So you have to take the profitability aspect of that idea. Then the next thing is persuasiveness. I'm looking at how well you can communicate with the people you want to sell this idea to. And it should be in such a way that you don't have to struggle to let people buy from you, because business is about people. So if you cannot convince people to, accept your solution for their problem, then you have to rethink about the idea. Then the next thing I'll talk about is motivation. You see, you have to love what you do. If that particular idea, you don't have that kind of high motivation to implement, then I think that you have to also rethink. And then the last aspect is efficiency. You see, some ideas you can implement them with high efficiency because you have learned and gathered a lot of valuable knowledge and experience in that particular field. So, for instance, professionally, I'm an accountant. I have been working as an accountant for the past 3 years. I know how accounting works are being done. So with this, it is very easy for me to establish a consultancy firm in the accounting industry because I have some level of exposure and also efficiency that I can use to implement. So if you consider these five key aspects in the model, then maybe you can have a scale of 0 to 5. So let's say I want to launch a fintech company. Number one, how feasible? Look at the location you find yourself. Are people receptive to technological innovation? Are people likely to go away with the old way of doing things to come and adapt the solution you are bringing on board? The profitability aspect, will people be ready to pay money for that services? Then the next thing about persuasiveness. How long can you continue to, talk to them about the importance of that project that you are bringing on board? And then we look at the motivation. How can you sustain this kind of idea? And then finally, how well can you execute it with some level of innovation so that day in and day out, you bring new things on board to help your client or target market to continue using your product. So if you test this model, I believe that it will give you a clear picture as to which idea is very okay for you to implement. But the issue is that the model cannot guarantee 100% because some ideas you might think that you cannot do it. So you forgo that one and go and do the one you think it is easy and it might fail. So in doing that, you have to look at how we can balance it off and by looking at what is also going on in reality, especially on the market. So thank you, Claudia.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for your contribution with that one. I think we'll have to find out what the model name is, and some people might need to refer to it. So
FPPME model.
FPPME model.
Yes.
Okay, so if they
So
Google that, they'll find it.
feasibility. No. They
Oh,
won't
it's
find
your own
it.
model.
It's not the idea is from someone, but I picked it and made it a model.
Okay. So FPPN, feasibility,
Profitability,
profitability,
persuasiveness,
persuasiveness,
motivation, and then efficiency.
motivation, and efficiency. Wow.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Okay. All right. So you might have to rewatch this to, if you just joined, make sure you get the explanation of all of these different things. Thank you so much for sharing that. Gloria just joined us. Gloria, would you like to do your introduction first, or maybe before you take the next question, you can do the introduction? I think we'll do it that way. Yeah. Okay.
Great.
So our next question is based on the back of what you said. What are the signs of a winning idea at this research phase? And on the flip side, what's the sign of a product which might not be successful? I'll direct this to I'll say Gloria. Then you can do your introduction and then answer the question. Yeah.
Okay. I want to apologize first to everybody on this call. I got in a bit late. I've been trying to log in with my laptop for the past 30 minutes, but for some reason I couldn't. So I just had to come back to the phone. I'm Gloria. I am the CEO and founder of Jolly Eyewear, and also founder of Akiglori Consult, which is a consultancy for small businesses. I'm a small business mentor, and I got the inspiration from my own business, my own journey as an entrepreneur. And I'm here to help other people who are also finding their feet in the entrepreneurship game through this enterprise. Okay, now to the question. How to find a winning product or a winning idea. I would say that the key marker for a winning idea is demand. no matter how good you think your product is, or no matter how good you think what you're offering is, if nobody wants it, it's useless. So before you go into all the nitty-gritties about innovation and all of that, first we have to stick to the basics and look at, is there really a market for this? Are people going to put up their hands and say, I want to do this, I want this, I need this? It might not necessarily be something people need, but at least they should want it. So that is the most important thing I've realized so far. All the other technical things are really just an upbuild, but basically what you should consider is, are people going to opt to do this? Is this going to make someone's life easier? Is this going to make someone's life better? Is this going to provide some form of value that someone will be willing to pay for? That is what you should look at first. And then about what is not going to be successful or an unsuccessful product or business venture. Same thing. If people do not want it, so you create something great, or you find a great product you feel you want to push, or in an industry you think there's something that you want to bring on board, find out. Find out if people are willing to purchase it. So whoever you think is the right person who might need your product, go to that person. Usually we use a lot of jargons, market research, that. But usually it's all about finding out, does somebody need this product? Is the person I think needs this product willing to pay for it? Sometimes they might need the product, but they don't need it as much as to be willing to pay what you want to charge for it. So those are the main things you should look at if somebody needs it. That's how.
Very much for sharing that, Gloria. Yes, demand is very, very important. And yes, apology accepted. I understand technical issues, so yeah, no worries about that. You're here with us, so that's what's the most important. Okay, so just to check, is everyone hearing all the speakers correctly? Just let us know if there's a speech delay or anything in the comment section. And just so you know, this is interactive as well, so you also have the chance to also ask questions as well. So get your questions ready. Okay, so I think this is my question has already been answered. My question was going to be, what questions should you be asking yourself to plan the way forward? Solomon's already made mention of the feasibility, persuasiveness, profitability, motivation, and the E, you remind me, efficiency. Yes, exactly. So these are questions that you ask yourself. What other questions did you ask yourself when you were planning the way forward with your business? So I'll go with Jacqueline. When you started your business, what questions did you ask yourself when you were thinking of, 5 years time, 2 years time? What questions were you asking yourself? Because you want sustainable businesses.
Since I'm into food production, so like most of the time, the question that I keep on asking myself is, if customers are in the shop and they want to buy, because I have a product, but if they want to buy chili sauce, will they go for my chili sauce, not for the other chili sauce? What will make them to buy my own chili sauce, not the other chili sauce? So I have to make my product very competitive on the market, a product that can speak for me on my behalf, where I'm not at the shop to pursue the customers to buy from me. So this is one of the things. And also the value chain, because one of the changes that we face is raw materials. So I had to make sure that I have a sustainable plan from farm to our production. So I had to make sure that I have farmers, I have made contact farmers so that I can be off taking their products, so that I can have continuous supply of our raw materials, so that our products should not be like, there should not be a shortfall of our product on the market. So if we have this consistency on the market, it's easy for customers to come and buy our product. And also, each product is different, but I wanted my product to be different from all other products. So Like these are the things that I was asking myself. 5 years from now, I want to be here, and I'm grateful that address is now being 2 years, but address my product is now speaking for myself, not countrywide, but in the district where I stay in Mangoch. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jacqueline. We'll go for gifts for the next. If anything else to add as well, what questions were you asking yourself in planning the way forward with your business when you started, for you to think about sustainability?
Yeah. As Jacqueline already said, I think one of the biggest questions to ask yourself is, what exactly is my product? What problem is my product solving? That's like the main big question. But then the second one could be for me as when I was starting, I asked myself, what is my target audience? Because that's one of the important things. You need to know when you're getting into a certain market, you need to know your target audience. What's your target market? Who are your potential clients? Because that's the most important thing. And also the second biggest thing is knowing your competitors. Because if you're bringing out a product in the market, I'm pretty sure the other people, competitors that have the existing solutions towards the problem that your product's about to fix. So one of the important questions to ask yourself is, okay, who are my competitors, and what sort of winning edge do I have in this market? Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much. So you've mentioned target audience and also the competitors. That's very, very important. Okay. So branding by Jacqueline, she mentioned also value chain. You've also heard from Gift about the target audience and also who your competitors are. And I think that also ties in with the branding aspect of things. What do people know you for? So that's very, very important. Okay, thank you very much for sharing that. Solomon, I'll go for Solomon. Anything else to add to this question on what questions to ask yourself in planning the way forward? You've probably mentioned it already, but just something different that you can add.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you very much. So to add up, I also look at the market size. Okay. If you really want to launch a business or maybe a product, you must first of all, serve as a detective. What do I mean by a detective? I mean scanning the environment to know how much people you be selling your product to. Because some products don't do well because they don't have the market. And if you don't have the market, scaling becomes very difficult. And then I would like to touch a bit of the competition. You see, the competition in the industry will determine the product life cycle of your business. Let me use the technological industry as an example. You see, the technological industry is, let me say, is full of high level of competition. So they have a shorter product life cycle. Every year, iPhone is bringing something new. Every year, Samsung is bringing something new, and other, tech companies are bringing something. Because the moment you stay for a long time, you'll be phased out of what the market. And then the next thing that you have to also look at is that, you see, before you bring a product or maybe you launch a business, you should have gone a step ahead to also analyze opportunities and threats that you may face. I'm going to host a program on business climate. It is very key thing for entrepreneurs to succeed, especially when they are about to roll out their business, because they are not operating in a vacuum. Wherever that they operate, there are rules and regulations. So you must also make sure that the kind of product that you are bringing fits into the context. I'm hearing the rumors that TikTok is being banned in some parts of the world because they believe that the product violates some kind of data protection regulations. So regulation is also another key thing that we can also look at, especially if your product is in the tech industry or your product is in the food industry. Because in Ghana here, before you can sell any product to somebody, FDA must approve. And if FDA hasn't approved, it is very difficult for you to have big contracts that can give you, some sumptuous amount. So I think that looking at this area, it will help you as an entrepreneur to know what is likely to happen so that you can also prepare for it. Thank you, Claudia.
Thank you very much, Solomon. Okay. One final thing for you to add, if it hasn't been mentioned, Gloria. If not, then we'll do the next question. Anything
Okay,
else to add?
I would like to add formalization, or I think Solomon did mention about regulations. Most business owners do not really formalize their businesses, like registering the business. You do not necessarily have to do that in the beginning if you are a solopreneur or it's a sole proprietorship business. But if you really want your business to grow beyond you, you have to register your business. And also, this helps keep you accountable, because accountability in the form of keeping records is very important. There's going to be times when you need um, more capital injection into the business. You might have to go for a bank loan, a grant, something. And all the time, these agencies or these people who are willing to give you the money would not give you the money if they cannot trust you. And the way that most of these people deem you trustworthy is if you are formalized and if you keep your records well. So that's what I would like to add.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you so very much for adding that. Um, I, I I suppose for all of us here, our businesses are registered, so it keeps us accountable. Now, some people might be thinking they don't want to formalize their business, register their business yet, because they're not quite sure if it's, if it's going to be, how big it's going to be, or if it's going to even succeed. So that might be something that might be holding people back from registering their business. So now a question is, how does one actually know when is the time to register a business? Maybe from your own personal experience, when did you know that, okay, this is working and I can actually register my business?
Okay, so I think you do not have to register your business from the get-go before you start making sales or before you start actually production. It's not required. I would rather you start, work in the industry, get some sales. Then when you start getting traction and you know that, okay, this is working for me, then you go ahead and do the registration. Because personally, I have registered businesses earlier on and I realized that it wasn't really necessary. Maybe at the end of the day, you realize your business name doesn't really cut it. You might want to change the brand. You realize your target audience that you started out with wasn't the ideal target audience, and so many things might happen down the line. So a brief test phase, at least, so you get traction and you have some experience. You're able to figure out, okay, who exactly is interested in this product and what is working, what is not working. And also personally, if you are able to deal with the challenges in that industry, because sometimes we start businesses for different reasons. Maybe you started a business because you wanted to spend more time at home, maybe because of your parents or your kids or something, and you go into an industry and you realize that, okay, no, this is not really tied to my personal goal. This is not helping me. This industry is not helping me reach my personal goals. Then you can switch. But if at that point you have registered the business, it means you have to do a formal closure of the business and all of that. So yes, a brief period of testing to see if it works for you would do. But that period should not also be too long, because when it's too long, sometimes you have years of experience that does not that is not accounted for formally. So maybe 6 months to a year maximum, you should go on and figure out if you are doing this or not. Once you know that, okay, you're doing this for the long haul, you do the registration.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing that, Gloria. There's another follow-up question, but I'll leave that for another time. muted myself. Just so you know, this is how to start your business from scratch. So we're going right from the beginning, from the idea phase to operation phase. So if you feel like you've gone past that phase, just please stick with us. We're getting to that level of operation. So this is how to start your business from scratch. So thank you very much for sticking with us. We have a few comments in the chat. Ashley says, a question I asked when I during the creation phase is, do I need this product or do I need this service myself? Okay, so asking yourself, putting yourself in the customer's shoes is very important. And she says, this question helps to conceive the idea for me. And it helps also as there's a driving force and the motivation behind it. That's very, very good. Thank you for sharing that, Ashley. Okay, so our next question is, I'll direct this one to, I would say Jacqueline can go for this one first. Okay. So I have a product that seems to be doing well. How do I maintain success and make my products stand out? So it could be something related to customer engagement. How did you, even with example of your own business, how did you maintain the success and also make your product stand out?
So as for me, it's continuous learning on the product, because I feel like every day I'm learning how to process my product and to maintain the quality of the product. And also I use social media a lot for marketing, and I always like every Friday I always ask people to give me feedback. Where do they want me to change on the product? And at first I was just selling from Mangoji, and outside my, I was just sending. So customer complained that we need to have selling points in other districts. So for me, one of the big thing is I always listen to my customers. What do they want? And because the customers are always my bosses, so I always listen to them and I implement what they want. And other thing that I can't implement, that I can't manage, is like, okay, we are looking into that, but in the meantime, we are offering this and that. So that's the main thing that I've been doing.
As Jacqueline has mentioned, using the customers as your for feedback. Okay, thank you very much. Gift, anything else to add?
Yeah, as Jacqueline already said, yeah, one of the biggest things that you need to do is make sure you maintain consistency on the quality, like be consistent with the quality. I'll give an example of in my industry, in the printing industry. We never let in our offices, we never let any product out without going through it and checking if this is the right quality. Because if you give out, if there's a certain product that's out there in the market that's coming from you guys, and it's of this type of quality, you always need to make sure you're consistent with that quality. Never change, shouldn't get any lesser. And just adding on to what you already said, customer feedback is also quite very important. We also run customer surveys, and it is just to get feedback and just to be in the loop, and of course continuous improvement. Yeah, thank you.
For that. So customer again, and also checking the products thoroughly. Going back to the quality of the products, it reminds me of those situations where maybe, for example, it could be a bottle of or drink or something, and when it first starts, it's the quantity is it's right to the brim, and as the product gets more popular, you can see that the quantity of the drink reduces and reduces. So it just reminds me of what you mentioned about maintaining the quality. Don't reduce the amount, because now you have more people to serve, unless maybe there's a factor where there's rationing, there's not enough of something. That's when maybe it's understandable to reduce the quantity, but people are paying for that product, so give them the full thing. Exactly. I would say. Okay, Solomon, anything else to add to that?
Okay, so I would like to add these two key things. Number one is innovation. You see, as a business person or entrepreneur, you shouldn't be doing the same thing every day. You must evolve with your business by also looking at the trend that is going on in the industry. So maybe you might be manufacturing a particular product, By the time you realize, you find yourself manufacturing another product that wasn't even your intention to manufacture. Because if you look at the successful companies and you go back to their roots, you could see that they started in a different dimension and then they ended up being somebody else. So you should be able to innovate ways and means to at least help your product stand out always. So I think when Pepsodent was in Ghana, I think Unilever that manufactures Pepsodent, they have evolved. Now we have Charcoal Pepsodent or Charcoal toothpaste. And I like it more than the other ones. You get the point? So maybe if they focus more on the other toothpaste, they wouldn't have even gotten me to be part of their client because I was using Colgate. But I don't like Colgate charcoal toothpaste. So you have to switch to Pepsodent charcoal toothpaste. And then the next thing I'll talk about is sustainability. You see, we should also understand where the world is going to. In terms of packaging, how do you employ sustainability? Because we all we want to cater for Mother Earth. So if you really want your product to stand out, you must infuse, things that will make people see that you are a sustainable business. Some time ago, I bought a food from a restaurant, and all the packaging was paper. And you could see that paper is even more, it's less harmful as compared to the plastic. So I feel so happy, and I want to buy from them anytime. Okay, so we want to be like responsible people. So we also, want businesses to be responsible. So if you are a business that manufactures, you must look at the value chain from where you source your product from into your manufacturing. Are you putting in place sustainable measures that will help to cater for the people, that will help to cater for the environment, and also that will help to also make you money because you are not doing it at your own expense. So I think that when we factor these two things in operation, I believe that it will go ahead and yield better results. Because right now, if I become a private equity and I want to invest in businesses, if you are not embarking on sustainability, you have to match it. Thank you.
For sharing that. So personal values, you're very much into the environment, so you also tend to also support businesses that are also doing that as well. Thank you very much for sharing that. Gloria, anything else to add? And then I'll go for an audience question. Yeah.
Okay. The only thing I would like to add is that you should always prioritize customer experience. Um, Dwelling on your product, dwelling on the quality of the product, and all of that is important. But overall, the experience the customer has, either with I don't if it's a service-based business or a product-based business. So if it's a product-based business, then the experience they have with the product from start to finish, from when they see the product, when they find the product, to when they buy it, and even after they use it. If it's a service-based business, the experience they have with your customer service persons or the skilled workers, whoever the customer interacts with, or whatever the customer interacts with in your business, it should be, you should have a deliberate plan for how the customer is going to feel when when they use the product or when they experience the service. I think it's something that most businesses in Africa, most small businesses in Africa do not really consider. And that is what really sets apart the big boys from everyone else. They prioritize experience. If you look at all the major brands, all the big brands that can come off your head that you look up to, you will realize that they focus on experience. Sometimes they have the same product as everybody else, but the reason why they're standing out is because the experience you have with them, you won't get anywhere else.
Okay, so think personalizing the experience, making sure that how would you feel if someone treated you that way, or how would you feel if that product was, you were purchasing that product as a customer? That's very, very important. Thank you very much for reminding us about that. Okay, so I'm going to go for an audience question now. I'll go for Francis Nyako's question, and he says something about business plan. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. I think we'll have Gift, if you can answer this question first. He says, did you all have a business plan before starting, and how beneficial has it been? So everyone's going to answer that question, but we'll start with Gift first.
Yeah. Yes. I did have a business plan. I think that's the most important thing that you must have before you start anything. So which includes short-term goals of your business and then long-term goals of your business. So yeah, and it's been beneficial. I can say right now, after 2 years, we're advancing, still going on, innovating, and still adding in new things based according to the business plan that I made in the start. So I'd urge everyone to really do have a business plan and follow it with short-term goals and then the long-term goals.
Okay, short-term, long-term goals. Thank you very much. All right, so Solomon, if you're ready,
Okay.
did you have a business plan?
Maybe counter-attack my brother. All right. From my perspective, you don't really need a business plan if you want to start a business. And the reason being that with the moment you start a business, your plan within might not be considered in the whole idea. But I advise that each and everyone should have a business model canvas. You see, like the model canvas, one way or the other, open certain things to you in terms of your value proposition, the kind of target market you are considering, how you want to let customers reach out to you. It will also highlight your key activities that you need to perform. So if you're a manufacturing, company, what are the key activities you need to perform? And also you look at your key resources. What are the things I need? You can also look at your key partners. So if you are into agriculture like my sister, Jacqueline, she will need the farmers as part of the value chain where she has to reach from time to time so that she can be able to source reliable raw materials. Then you look at the real revenue stream. Where would you get your revenue from? And lastly, you look at the cost model. How much do you need to start a business? So if you're able to design a simple business model canvas, that one can even serve as a plan for you. Because I know that definitely when you start a business and you have a business plan, it become impracticable. And maybe if someone needs to fund you, that one is key because they would like to look at your future plans. But if you are bootstrapping, means you are starting a business with your own fund, I think that from the beginning, a business model canvas can help you. Thank you, Claudia.
And in terms of the business model canvas, is that different from the one you mentioned in the beginning, the FPPME? Is it different?
Yes, it's different from that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So Solomon's saying you do not need a business plan necessarily. So have another counter one. So Solomon, I'm assuming you didn't have a business plan when you started your business then.
Oh, I don't have a business plan.
Okay, interesting.
But
All
I
right.
have a small, write up that guides me about what I want to do. But it's not a
Okay.
business plan. Yeah.
Okay. So you have that model of what your business is going to be like.
Yes.
Okay, so that's another perspective. I think I've lost the ladies, but we'll go to the next question. So thank you very much for your questions and thank you for your answers. The question here from Blessing, he says, as an entrepreneur who is determined to compete with the top brands in the market, is it necessary to protect your invention or product at the early stage of business operation? Oh, okay. So I guess it's relating to intellectual property and copyright and all of those things. Solomon, since you're already on my screen, do you want to answer this question?
Thank you very much. It is very important. even if you have not developed the product and it's in the idea phase, I beg, kindly protect it because people are stealing ideas a lot. I would like to share an experience we had um, during level 100 at the university. We were asked to come up with an idea and present it to the School of Business. So we decided to launch an app which can help, students to just look for hostels and also hall in on campus without necessarily coming to campus to look for accommodation. Because during our time, I have to move from one location, travel like 4 hours to campus before I could get a room, and it was not convenient. So we did this, design, we tabled it to the School of Business. They read about it. Someone came to us and told us that, oh, Charlie, this idea is nice. The moment we came in for the next semester, they have implemented the idea, and now the school is using a system to help people look for accommodation. And if you have protected this idea, I tell you, they have made some real deal by suing them at the law court. So if you have any idea, I just want to tell you that protect it. Go to the copyright agencies, let them put the copyright on it, that this is your original work, so that no one will go out there and use your idea and make money. So thank you, Blessing.
I'm muted. Um, I am muted. Okay, typical. I read a okay. Let me just read the comment again. So I was reading a comment in the chat by Pindu, and she says it's nice to have perspectives from Southern Africa. Shout out to Gift and Jacqueline for adding nuance to the conversation. Truly inspirational. Thank you very much for joining us from Southern Africa, Central Southern Africa, from Malawi. It's good to have you here as well. Thank you for your comments, and thank you to our panelists. It's been great so far. So I'm going to go for another question from Christine. And she says, if you are in a product business, is it necessary to offer samples to build a customer base or go straight into selling, but at discounted rates for first few customers? Very good question. Thank you very much for that question, Christine. If Gift is able to answer, if not, I'll go for Jacqueline. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
We're having network problems in Malawi, so that's why I was out on the line.
Okay, no worries, no worries. So we're answering this question here. Is about samples. Should we offer samples to new customers or just sell at discounted rates?
I'll answer based on what I did because it's business. So you can't manage to give samples to everyone. That means you'll be put out of business. But because I started with chili sauce, so what I did with my chili sauce, I used to go into restaurants and I'll put a bottle of chili sauce and I'll stay outside selling. So once people tested my chili, they'll come out and buy. But some people were like, because it's a new product, we don't know it. Can you give us a discount? So instead of 1,000, I was saying at 1,000. So I was saying 900. So I had to make sure that I'm not making a loss. At least I'm having a certain markup that I can invest in the business so that I can grow. So you can give out for free, but you can have a strategy that if you can move 2 bottles, for instance, 2 bottles in your production, you won't make losses. but still people have to try your product, because I can't buy a product that I've never tried it before unless someone recommends me that this product, please try it. But completely new Africans, we don't do that. We have to try it first. So yeah.
For that. All right, I go for gift. The same question I'm asking. Samples, discounts, what's your take?
In my line of business, I'm actually required to provide a sample all the time. So yeah, it is necessary. In my line of business, it cannot apply to the other businesses, but in my line of business, it is necessary to provide a sample. Yeah.
Okay. So just if you just joined us, Gift works in the prints and design industry. So in his line of business, he said best to use samples. Okay, thank you very much. We'll go for Gloria. Same question. Hopefully you haven't missed it. It's on the screen. If you need.
Yeah, I got the question.
Okay.
Dependent on your industry, your line of business. In my line of business, it's not important. With the eyewear, I cannot give you samples, but I think when we talk about sampling, it's not always about giving the product to the customer or the customer testing the product. Sometimes it's about the customer also seeing the product. So for me, the customer has to see the designs, the eyewear designs I have, either become in-house or online. So I think that's a form of offering samples in a way, so the customer gets to see what you have. But if it's edible products or consumables or something the person, like maybe cosmetics, something you can just take a portion of for the person to try, I think you should. You should, for your testing phase or for the initial phases, you should. That's how the customer would know that, okay, this really works, and they'll get to experience how different your product is from the other products. And I think it doesn't really cost much to do that. So if it's consumables and you should. But other than that, there should still be a way that the customer gets to feel the product or see the product before they make a purchase.
Hey, thank you very much. All right. So last person. So
sorry, I think I missed another part of the question that says, or go straight into selling but at a discount rate for first few customers. Okay, so you can do both. You can do both. You can also sell while you're doing the sampling. I think the sampling is to sell in the first place. So as you sample, you can also give bits of the products, the actual products, to people at a discounted rate as well. So it depends on what you can do. You can do both.
Very much, Gloria. So another one's both. Okay, so industry, think about the industry you work in, and also which one you think is best, and you shouldn't be making too much of a loss, hopefully. Solomon, last one from you.
Okay. I think my friends have said about you. Let me add this in. You see, whatever that you do as a business, sustainability is key. And I'll touch from the discounts, and then I'll end up with a sample. If you are going to give discounts, how long are you going to give this discount? You know how customers behave. The moment you give them discount, fine. Every time they want discounts. So is it that you are going to have a period that you'll be giving this discount, especially on occasion period? Because when you start selling at discount, have you considered your cost of production? Have you considered the changes in the environment? Because as a manufacturer, day in and day out, the cost of inputs, the price won't be the same. Okay, so you must factor all those things inside before even you think like, okay, I want to offer discounts. And if you really want to get your customers on board to use your product, I would say that content marketing should be one of the most important things you look for. Creating a content where you use the product for them to see how the product is being used, so that you can convince them to see that, okay, the person has used the product and this has been the effect of using the product. That one can also sell. And I also call something ideal customer target. There are some people in your network, they will give you honest opinion about your product or service. They can call you that, okay, Gloria, you did this, you did this, you did that. I think if you add this thing to it, it will make it more perfect. So these are the people that you need to at least give them sample for them to test your product for you, because you cannot give everybody sample. Then the business has collapsed. So I think that we should, look for people who are in our network. We can, leverage them and who can give us honest opinion. Because there's a friend of mine who makes cookie. The first day I bought the cookie, I tried to share it with colleagues in the office. And then the feedback that came was that the sugar content is very high. So we had a program this weekend. I met her and I told her, hello, dear, this is the feedback my friends are giving. Then I saw that I wasn't the first person who was giving her the feedback. So she has also, had the thought of coming up with a new innovative way to reduce the sugar content of the product. So that is how it's supposed to go. If you do that, I bet you will do well on the market. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much for sharing that. So many insights from all our panelists. I've learned, I didn't know this was called content marketing, where you yourself use a product. And I've seen Gloria do it with her glasses. I'm sure she's advertising her glasses right now. So yeah, it's very important that you use yourself as the model, right? Very important. And I like the fact that you mentioned about also the customer and feedback. So I guess the advice there is keep your eyes and your ears open for what people are saying about your product, because it will determine if it's successful or not. They could be saying good things about your product. They could also be saying bad things about your product. And before you know it, your business is totally destroyed. So very important for that. We're going to end this in about 12 minutes, half past. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. Thank you very much for the question, Christine. I have a few questions here. I think I'll go for one further question and I'll go for final words from you if there's no questions from the audience. So a question here from the audience says, how do you separate working capital from operating capital? How do you separate working capital from operating capital? Gloria, I'll go for yes, if you can share your thoughts on that, please. Advice, I'll say.
Okay. Before I answer this question, let us understand what working capital is and what operating capital is first. Because capital is capital. Capital is the amount of money or assets or resources that are available to you to run the business. Now, your operating capital is what you use on a daily basis. So day to day, paying off your rent, paying off your salaries, buying inventory, buying stock. The money you use to run the business day-to-day basis is your operating capital. And your working capital is the sum of like long-term assets, long-term projects you have. So if say you have machinery and you have to maybe renew this machinery maybe 2 years, every 2 years, every 5 years. If you have assets, maybe you have a long-term loan to pay off. So the money you have to be repaying the cost of the loan. All those are your working capital. So based on this understanding, I do not know how you can separate your working capital from your operating capital, because the only thing is you should know that you have long-term goals and you have short-term goals, or you have long-term budgets and long-term priorities, and you have short-term priorities. So with the money you have available, the revenue you are generating, you just have to know, make a list of all your short-term expenditures, monthly expenditure. What do you usually spend for your salaries? What do you usually spend for your rent? If you pay any subscriptions, if you buy electricity, all of those things, you should have a budget that you spend monthly. And then you should also think about the long-term things you have to do. Do you have a loan to pay off? Do you have assets to buy? Would you have to renew certain assets in the long term? You should also think about that. So when you are spending the money, do you know that, okay, these are the obligations that we have in the long term. These are the obligations that we have long term. And these are the obligations that we have short term. So as you focus on doing the short-term obligations, you also look at how it's going to affect your long-term, your ability to fulfill your long-term obligations, right? So for separating the money, if you want to save something aside, or you want to invest something in maybe an investment fund to take care of your long-term, if you have enough revenue and you want to set something aside, invest something for your long-term, as your long-term working capital or for your long-term obligations, that is absolutely fine. But from my understanding, it's about managing your resources well so that first you can deal with the short term, because within the short term, if you are not able to restock your inventory, if you're not able to pay your salaries, the business would collapse. So the short term is most important. But while you deal with that, ensure that you are profitable enough, or you are gaining enough revenue in the long term to also fulfill your longer term obligations. Thank you.
Very much, Gloria. Thank you so much. Yeah, that was a lot. You can rewatch this when it's over. But just in case you don't know the difference between working capital and operating capital, Gloria just gave us a breakdown of what it is. So hopefully you are taking notes of that. Because of time, I'm going to speed through the next few questions. And the next question will be for you, Jackie. I have an aspect of my business that I cannot fulfill myself. Do I partner or outsource? That means, so making your business larger, or would you give it to someone else to do that for you in your own experience? Oh, I think she's frozen. Oh yeah, network problems. Okay.
Sorry, Claudia, I couldn't get you.
Okay,
I
so
lost reception.
no worries. I have an aspect of my business that I can't fulfill myself. Do I partner or outsource?
For me, the best way is to partner. If you have a friend or someone who has some skills, it's better to partner, and then you should be helping each other with to collaborate. The best way to go far is to collaborate. So you can collaborate with your friend and boost your business together. And if you have the capability, you can try to find investors, but more special investors want to invest in something that is already on the ground. They want to see how you're performing, how your business is doing, and how our customers have received your product or your service. So you can start with collaborating, and as you are growing, then you can outsource rather looking for investors.
Okay, thank you very much, Jacqueline. Oh, yeah, network is poor. Okay, thank you very much, Jacqueline. One final question, and then we'll do the wrap up. So the last question is also from the audience, and I'll direct that to Solomon. The question is, how do I balance risk taking with caution in entrepreneurship? If you are here, should I read the question again?
Hello, Claudia. Oh,
Yes, should I read the question again?
hello.
Hello?
Please,
Can you
can
hear
you
me?
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. I think we lost him. Okay. All right. So actually I'll have, if someone else wants to take that question, I'll not give any names. How do I balance risk taking with entrepreneurship?
Okay.
Yeah, Jackie, you
For
can go.
me,
For me,
I,
okay.
I'm responding with
Jacqueline, you
my
first.
experience. Entrepreneurship is all about risk. If you won't take risk, you won't grow. So you have to see which you have also to create the percentage of the risk. For instance, if I invest my money on this, how much is it coming out? So if the percentage is lower, you can go for it. Or it's higher, you can also go for it. But entrepreneurship, my friends, every day you take risk, but make sure you calculate your risk before you dive into deep in the risk. And someone is back. I think he can take up from me.
Thank you
Sorry,
for
I had
sharing
an
that.
interruption.
Calculate your risk. Thank you. Yes. Solomon, did you get the question?
No, when you were about to mention, and then I got an interruption.
Okay. The question is, how do you balance risk taking with caution in entrepreneurship?
All right, thank you very much. Now, I want to establish this premise, and maybe afterwards I will explain more detail. You see, the moment you think of solving a problem to earn an income, risk is already established in that context. Because as an entrepreneur, you don't know what is out there. So you are taking the risk, putting the money in the idea, hoping that this idea will turn into something successful. So I would say that it depends on your risk appetite. Some people they can take higher risk. Some people too they are risk averse. So I will give this to the person that check yourself. Are you that person who loves to take higher risk without, being afraid? Then go all out. If you succeed, you succeed. If you fail to, you try again. But if you think you are risk averse and you don't like to take in much risk, then that one too is fine. But I believe that risk is tied with return. The one that is able to go for the higher risk and he succeed, the person is likely to be successful more than the one who is risk averse. So whoever asks the question, I'll tell you that look at your risk appetite. If you are that person that loves to take higher risk, why not? After all, business is risky. Whether you succeed or it doesn't succeed, it's risky. COVID came in and we saw that people's businesses are collapsing. Risk. Sometimes too, you'll be there and all of a sudden your contract will be cancelled. It's a risk. But at the end of the day, you must make sure that every risk that you are willing to take will bring, a return. So go all out and then take that risk. Don't be afraid. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. Outstanding answers from everyone, really. But I guess from what we've learned, that business is risk. So once
I
you're an
would like
entrepreneur,
to
you're
add
supposed to be taking some few risks. And Gloria, yes, add to that.
yes. I think to make it simpler, you should ask yourself as a business owner, whatever decision you want to take, you should ask yourself, what could go wrong? That's something that I've learned that has really helped me in making decisions or taking risks. Because if you know what could go wrong with the decision you want to make, the scenarios, what if it works? What if it doesn't work? What could go wrong? Then you can be cautious about taking the risk in the first place. Yes, you may have a high risk appetite, but the truth is that not all high risk ventures would give you a better profit margin or better profitability. So it's always better to find out what could go wrong. Yes, if everything goes right, you're definitely going to benefit. But what could go wrong? And then prepare for what could go wrong as well. That is how you manage the risk. That is how you take precautions. So if you know that, okay, if I should invest this money, this and this and this, if it works out, I could get this amount. But if it doesn't work out, then this could happen. Then you know what to do to prevent that from happening. I hope that helps.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, thank you very much for sharing that as well. There's something called risk assessment. So that also applies in the business world as well. So do your risk assessment, find out, ask yourself what could go wrong. And I guess that if you also did the SWOT analysis, this is also something that you'd have identified as a threat, opportunity, as a weakness, before you take that decision. So know yourself, know your risk level, your risk appetite, as Solomon put it, and also ask yourself what could go wrong. And as Jacqueline mentioned, business is risky. So yes, find out exactly what it is that you're trying to do. Okay, so it's we're at the 30 mark now, and we're going to be ending very shortly. So I'm going to open the floor for our panelists to give us some final words. And you can, I guess it's a good time to also do some promotion, promote your business. The people are here to support you. There's some potential customers here who can also be inspired by what you do. So I will start with Gift. Tell us how to reach Eminent Prince, how to reach you. Any final words of advice for people who are starting businesses or already in business?
Okay.
So, yeah. 30 seconds, please.
Yeah. Okay. I think the only advice I could give to anyone that wants to start their business is you need to make sure you believe in whatever you want to start with, whatever plan or product or business you want to start with. You need to believe in it. That's the first thing that you need to do. Believe in it, and once you do that, everything just follows. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you very much. I'll go for Jacqueline.
You have to believe yourself, because you are the one who knows what you want. So when you believe yourself, even though you are meeting with some challenges, you believe so that I can do this, I'll make it. Don't be today, don't be tomorrow. But whatever you are believing in, with your passion, but being passion driven, you're going to reach there. So believe in yourself, and remember, always pray. God always helps us in different ways. Thank you. And people from Malawi, please buy my product, J Foods. Follow me on social handles.
Thank you very much. So J Food, Eminent Prince, they're both on Facebook. We will put their links in the description once after this event is done. But they're both on Facebook, so you can check them out. On Instagram as well, I suppose.
Yeah.
Instagram, yeah. Okay, so we'll put all their links in the description. So please patronize, and I mean, these are things that you need every day. So please check them out. Quality stuff. I use them. So yes, please go for it. We'll go for Gloria. Final words. How people can reach you.
I'll say that as an entrepreneur or a business owner, you should always be open to learning. Always be open to learn. You cannot know enough, ever. No matter how much success you see, you cannot know enough. And then experiment with little before you go in big. Whatever big plans you have, whatever big ideas you have, start with small, test it out with little before you go in big. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much.
I think you muted yourself, Claudia.
I'm muted again. Sorry. Solomon, yes.
All right, thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank Gloria, Gift, and Jacqueline for such a wonderful contribution. And I want to thank you, Claudia, for organizing this session. And to our listeners and viewers out there, I say that thank you. And today I'm going to act as an accountant. Um, I know you have talked about the front end aspect of business. I'm going to talk about the back end. You see, if you are a business and as at now, you have not separated your personal income from your business income, you are just setting up yourself for collapse. So I want to share some tips on business essential. Make sure that you keep proper books of accounts because if someone wants to invest in your business, they want to see you giving them proof of what has transpired over the years you have operated. So if you don't know how to do any accounting services, you can look up for me. My name is Solomon Aidan. The Aidan is IDAN. Search me on LinkedIn because I'm very active there. Send me a DM and I'll respond to you. The second thing that I'll talk about is how you brand yourself is very key. Now, this digital ecosystem that we have found ourselves, it is the brand that yield the benefit long term. So make sure that you position yourself on the market in a way that when someone is thinking about something, you are the only first person that comes in mind. And finally, I want you to make sure you look at the regulation you find yourself. The reason I'm so passionate about the regulation is that a lot of businesses have collapsed because they don't know the kind of regulation that applies to their business. As I'm talking to you, a friend is in my DM worrying me because she couldn't file her returns. And they have slapped a lot of fines on her business because she didn't know. She thought registering business is all about registering business. So I want you to scan your environment, know what affects you, and find a way to protect yourself. If you cannot protect yourself, reach out to me and I will help you with the tips that can help you to protect yourself. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you very much, Solomon. I think everyone's talked now. Right, that's everyone. All right, fantastic. Thank you so much to all our panelists. Right now it's 9, almost 10 in Malawi, and it's almost 9 in the UK. It's almost 8 in Ghana, and we're working across 3 different time zones. So we had to find the most appropriate time. Everyone is back from work, went to work, and it's been a long day. So thank you so much to our panelists for making the time to have this talk after work, and also to our guests as well, who have also joined us after work to listen to this insightful conversation. I'm going to finally just add that well, if you think we should have a part 2, just let us know. If you don't vote now, you can always put in the comment section on YouTube later. If we do a part 2, it might be a LinkedIn live or something, Instagram live or something like that, where you can actually ask your questions yourself. No more questions from me. It will just be you guys asking your questions. I can see there are a few questions in the chat, so I will try to make notes of them so that if we did have another live, we can answer them in the next live. And from our panelists, for our guests, lots of words of praise to the panel. So thank you so much, panel. I'm going to finally end by saying, oh no, Gloria, have you said something?
I did. I did wrap up.
Did you talk about Jolly Eyewear?
No, I didn't. Actually,
And
the
your
network
book?
was quite unstable, so I
Okay.
wasn't sure. But okay, yes, I can talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. So, as I mentioned earlier, I am founder of Jolly Eyewear. We offer prescription eyewear
Thank you.
services, prescription and protective eyewear for busy professionals. So, what we do is we take your prescription from wherever you are in the country. We also do for people who are outside of Ghana. You send us your prescription, and then we get you your prescription glasses at affordable prices, and then we ship it to you at your convenience wherever you want to get them. Yes, so that's it about Jolly Eyewear. Thank you.
Thank you
And
very
also,
much. Book.
I
Yes.
wanted to share this. I do have an ebook It's a very short, concise ebook on starting, building a profitable business. So all the things that you need to know from start to finish, from pre-phase to scaling your business, everything you need to know, straight to the point, practical tips. You can get this ebook from me. So you can message me. Okay, I see it up there. Yes, so I can send you the link. You can message me at Gloria Agbadi on all socials. So Gloria Agbadi, my name, no hyphen, no space, nothing. On any social media platform you find me, you can send me a message and I'll give you the link to get this. It will really help. Thank you.
I think I didn't mention about Eminent Prince. I think I did mention about Eminent Prince. Guys, for all your branding solutions, please find us. We're based in Lilongwe, Malawi, around Central Hospital for your branding solutions. Thank you.
I think Claudia, she has lost reception.
Oh,
So
okay. Sorry. I'm muted again. Oh my goodness. I was asking if Solomon wanted to share on his next event. Solomon.
Okay, thank you, Claudia. I have like additional two events. Now, the first one will come off this Saturday. We are going to discuss how to leverage on collaboration and partnership to grow as a small business. And then on the 31st of May, I'll be working on the business climate environment in Africa. So we want the participants to share how the business climate is faring in their respective place. And then we try to come up with ideas on how we can safeguard ourselves on this kind of issues and then protect our income and grow as well. So 25th and 31st May, you can follow me on LinkedIn, Solomon Aidan. You see all the contents that will be going on that day. I've shared it there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think Jacqueline's already done her little promo. So thank you guys so much. As you can see, the audience have really enjoyed this. So maybe next time, Instagram Live or LinkedIn Live with just the audience. So audience, this is your time to please. I'm not going to come with any questions. It's just going to be you, audience, and your questions. So hopefully, I think you might all be on. Maybe we can do an Instagram. We'll see. And then you can let us know your questions as well. Okay, so we'll end it here. Thank you so much for joining. Have a lovely evening to our panelists. Thank you, our panelists, and lovely evening to our guests as well. Have a lovely evening. See you next time, and you are awesome. Take care, everybody.